From a dramatic decline in basketball viewership to spending hours perfecting his swing on the golf course, here's what'll likely happen to the NBA if LeBron James retires. That's something that's been on the minds of fans for a while now, ever since the NBA superstar expressed his desire to end his career as an LA Laker. And it begs the question, how will the association change once LeBron is no longer there to bolster its ranks? Well, that's a tough one. But luckily for you, I'm good at my job, so I'll answer it. Our best chance of accurately predicting the future is to look back at the past. LeBron James is easily one of the biggest stars the NBA's ever had. The 38-year-old Ohio native has laid claim to the greatest of all time title. And if we take a look at his resume, it's easy to see why. LeBron's won 4 championship rings, earned the Most Valuable Player award 4 times, and of the almost 20 years that he's been in the NBA, he spent 19 of them as an NBA All-Star. If all the glory wasn't enough, James has made a pretty penny while playing in the league, setting a record for the first player to make $1 billion while still active in the NBA. Not bad for a young kid from Ohio who came from nothing, right? He's mentioned the fact that chasing the Chicago Ghost, a reference to Michael Jordan, who many believe to be the GOAT, has driven him to become the NBA player with the highest number of all-time points, clocking in at an astounding 38,450 points so far. That's more than MJ, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and Wilt Chamberlain. LeBron hasn't made it all about himself, though. He's created a charity called the LeBron James Family Foundation, which has helped open an elementary school, a medical center, a housing complex, and even a retail plaza, all in his hometown of Akron, Ohio. It seems that even though LeBron has reached the heights of glory, he's never forgotten where he came from. He's taken philanthropy and giving back to a whole new level. Now, when it comes time for him to retire, some have begged the question, what will the NBA do without LeBron? Well, too many fans of basketball, especially mass market fans, who can seriously swing the association's viewership periods in the NBA, aren't remembered in terms of playing style, or even what happens on the court. Most casual fans remember certain periods in the NBA's history, for the transcendent players who dominated the game in that era. And to add this, mass market fans aren't too crazy about divided success. They want to see one team dominate. And the combination of these two factors is pretty clear when you consider that the most popular time for the NBA in terms of finals ratings was during the Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird era and the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls era. When these dynasties came back-to-back from 1982 to 1998, the NBA experienced a huge surge in popularity, both in sports and pop culture, which hasn't been surpassed till this day. After MJ's retirement, finals viewership plummeted, and we saw a decade-long slump in the NBA's popularity, despite many well-loved players being active during those years. In recent years, the NBA's popularity has been on a steady uptick, and some of this could be attributed to LeBron. But whether LeBron's influence compares to the likes of Michael Jordan remains the subject of much debate. Mike won all 6 of his championship rings, with one team, the Chicago Bulls.
The history of the NBA Finals. Thank you and congratulations, 1998 NBA Finals MVP, Michael Jordan.
This dynasty elevated both the NBA itself and MJ's popularity. Remember, people want to see one team take all the glory, but in LeBron's case, his championship rings are scattered, from 2 with the Miami Heat, 1 with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the last with the LA Lakers. So when casual fans think about LeBron, they only think of him.
Is, for the second straight finals, LeBron James.
And not a one-team dynasty as we saw with Jordan. Whenever people mention MJ, the Chicago Bulls almost certainly follow. This shows that while LeBron's important to the league, the way his career's played out hasn't garnered him as much sway over the fans as his predecessors. Don't think I'm hating on the guy. I respect LeBron as much as the next guy. But while he might be a staple of the sport, it's hard to argue that he's had as much of an impact culturally or internationally as someone like Michael Jordan has. During his time with the NBA, LeBron hasn't been able to bring its finals viewership back up to what it was in the 90s and 80s. On top of this, the marketing strategy for the NBA has dramatically changed since that era. David Stern, the former commissioner of the association, used a marketing strategy based on pushing star players to the masses, trying to get as many eyes on the game as possible. Current NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has taken the NBA in a different direction. It seems the association is less concerned with marketing towards non-fans and only focuses on their base, as well as showing less favoritism on which players get pushed to the forefront as the face of the league. This has given rise to a lot of popular teams and players, like Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, to name a few. Those are all NBA stars who have their own fan bases and could definitely bolster the league's popularity once LeBron calls it quits. If the league wants to promote another star to take LeBron's place in the long term, they have a great pot to choose from, with names like Giannis the Greek Freak, Devin Booker, Ben Simmons, or even the rising young talent of Luka Doncic. Most would argue that Steph Curry would be the most likely candidate, but I'll let you guys hash it out in the comments. So it seems overall that while the NBA may take a hit from LeBron calling it quits, it's hard to say that they'll suffer too much. The league's super stacked with talent these days. As for LeBron, we might still see plenty of him after he retires, likely playing some sort of pivotal role in the NBA, just not on the court. LeBron's also an avid golfer. He'll probably join the ranks of Jerry West, Michael Jordan, and Shaquille O'Neal. As a retired NBA player who develops a real passion for the sport. But more noticeably than that, a lot of these former greats seem to circle back to basketball in one way or another. They just can't leave the game alone. And can you really blame them? You don't become one of the all-time greats at something you hate. Take Larry Bird, for instance. Bird went on to coach the Indiana Pacers. Or Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaq, who all work for NBA on TNT. Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, built the Mamba Sports Academy, which develops youth sports programs including basketball. Even MJ couldn't help but stay connected to the game in some way following his retirement. He owns the Charlotte Hornets, currently ranked 14th in the Eastern Conference. Who knows? After LeBron retires, we might see him as an analyst, building sports academies to teach basketball, or doing more work with his community through his foundation. But for now, he's got some seasons left to play, and only time will tell if LeBron's retirement will rock the world. So, from plummeting NBA Finals viewership to hours spent on the golf course perfecting his swing, that's what'll likely happen to the NBA if LeBron James retires.